brands. When I first started, it was a whole lot simpler, and since then so many companies have sort of made their own version of products. So I'll just talk you through them, but in essence, you know, it's and you have Snappy G in the cupboard as well. So you have this one, medical adhesive. A lot of the glues, or quite a lot of it, of what we use, you know, things like this, is actually from the medical profession. This, you might have to be very careful that you clean it before anything comes out, so always make sure that before you've got someone sitting in your chair, you're prepared for it. Telesis 5, I think there is a Telesis or Telesis 8. If I remember right, the 8 sets quicker than the 5, so basically they go in order. I mean, it'll tell you on it. You know, anyway, so the Telesis, you want to be quick with. By the time you've put it on the skin, it kind of sets really quickly. So I'd say the 8 probably quicker than the 5. If you want time, you use this, because when it's applied, it looks milky, you wait for it to set, it goes clear, that's when it's tacky, and then you apply your piece. And you can manipulate it with isopropyl alcohol. So sometimes you do really want to be fast, and this stuff allows you to do stuff really fast. Yeah, for sweaters, I mean, people have different approaches. I think this can sort of react with sweat in a different way than the silicone glue does. And then, of course, I have here thinner. Oh no, so this is matte lace adhesive. So Telesis have a silicone matte lace adhesive. Now, lace is, when they talk about lace, have I got anything in here? So there. So when someone, and this is really just a scrappy piece that I might use to do some hair prep, but can you see it?
Yeah.
So this is what you would use different strengths and different colors of to make wigs or facial hair. The very fine one, film lace, is so delicate, it tears really easily. So when people make wigs and facial hair for film, it is expensive because it requires a high level of skill and it's extremely delicate, so treat it with care. I'm not sure if I would start putting silicone in it because you have to try and get it out again afterwards. So for me, I would try it. If I had a new product that I wasn't too sure about, just try it on a little corner. Think about, with glue, you must always have the remover on standby. Don't ever start a job with glue without having the remover by you, really important. Then, for instance, and I was going to just talk about the lace. The lace has 6 sides. So if I knot something, in each, you know, it's got the, you know, if I knot a hair in that direction, hair in that direction, hair in that direction, it's, you know, it's essentially what the crown is, it goes out. So you can design it in different directions, but this is a whole different field. So it's just to give you a little sort of an insight into some of that. Then the other materials in terms of glues, that is again is a very wide field with all sorts of different companies making their version. This is the classic. This is Mastix Spirit Gum. It actually looks quite dark. I always find they're a little bit like whiskies. They go better with age. You know, the darker it is, the sort of better it seems to behave. Sometimes it's quite pale and you sort of, you know, don't give up. When the glue isn't quite behaving in the way you want it to behave, just persist with it. Understand the material, because this bottle might have, after 10 years of being on my shelf, might do something slightly different than something I've bought in the shop. So don't give up, work with it. Here's a different one. This one has got sort of, well, what has it got in it? It's got some sort of sediment at the bottom, so I would always make sure that if you see that, you know, give it a good shake. There's usually a little bead at the bottom that helps it. And because mastics often can be quite shiny in the light. So glue, in general, what you want to avoid is that lights that are shining on it are reflected, because that is when you see that it is glue. So it is about treating the surface of it so that you're you know, generating a matte surface, and I can show you some tricks with that as well. So again, there's a tiny little bit bottle of, and this is sort of more the fresher colour, I would say. This is once it's matured a little bit. again, if you've got this in lace, there are different ways of removing it from the lace. Generally, we would use acetone. Acetone does require you either to be in the open air, because it's not something you want to breathe in. You always want to work with gloves, or some kind of air filtration or extraction. So there's a selection of glues, and they're all, they're worth trying. It's just a matter of playing with the materials, because the only way that I've been able to share with you what I know now is because I've used them all myself. So then here, for